Good morning, and welcome to Unity in the Heart of the Twin Cities, a vibrant spiritual community inspiring personal transformation. I'm Rev Ray Nelson. I'm the spiritual leader for this community, and we are so blessed to have you with us today on this cold, crisp, soon-to-be winter day in Minnesota. As the snow's beginning to fall and the leaves are all gone, and it's the start of the Christmas season. It's everything all rolled up into one. So for those watching at home, we bless you for being with us, and we invite you to like us on Facebook or YouTube or whatever platform you're watching us on, and invite your family and friends in. We also invite everyone to check out our website and our Facebook page throughout the week. See what's upcoming and for new things that we're posting all the time. Our worship team today is on piano is Mary Copet, as Dennis is filling in for Greg as our sound engineer, as Greg is off to other duties today. So we are blessed that Dennis is willing to step into a new role, and he's, I'm sure. And our special music today, who will also be leading our congregational songs, is Claire DeComert, and we're blessed to have you back with us again. So let us go ahead. Oh, and our platform attendant is Warren Wolf, who will also be our prayer chaplain after the service. Let us go ahead and open in prayer. So as we gather this day, whether in person or online, we come with open hearts and open minds. On this blessed day, this is a day the Lord has made, so let's rejoice in it and be glad. Be glad for the fact that we are alive, aware, and awake and living on this beautiful green planet with all the opportunities in front of us to create the world we wish to live in. And so as we gather this day on this beginning of the Advent season, we come together in faith and hope for a new beginning and for a new life of awakening both within us, our community, and in the world. So as we move forth grateful and filled with joy for this opportunity to gather together. And so we say, thank you, God. And so it is. Let's go ahead and have our first song.
And you get an opportunity to take out your songbooks and turn to 267. We're going to be singing First Noel. The first Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields where they lay. There they lay keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. They looked up and saw a star shining in the east beyond them far, and to the earth so it continued both day and night. Noel, born is the King of Israel. Noel, born is the King of Israel.
Good morning. I'm Warren Wolf. I will be today's platform assistant. We have a number of announcements. One of them is that the annual holiday bake sale is going to be coming up in a few weeks. Sharpen your baking skills. I'm going to be doing that. And whet your appetite. We'll hold our annual bake sale on Sunday, December 12th, immediately after the service. So you can bring your favorite goodies or the things that you think other people will find as their favorite goodies, individually wrapped for others to enjoy, and then you can bring home stuff to stuff yourself with, which I plan on trying to do as well. Another thing is that this is the last week to donate to the Special Christmas Gifts Fund. Since the Angel Tree program has been dissolved, we've chosen the Minnesota Council of Churches Refugee Services program as a recipient of this year's Christmas gifts. They're working to care for refugees from Afghanistan caused by the troop withdrawal, and they have a lot of needs, including a lot of very basic needs. So there are three ways that you can donate to this cause. One is you can give money directly by going to the MCC website and click on the donate button there. That's for the Minnesota Council of Churches. Number two, you can purchase a gift card at Target, Walmart, Cub, other places like that, and that can be given directly to refugees. You can put those cards in an envelope addressed to the MCC Refugee Services and place it in the collection basket during the Sunday service here. Or you may mail your gift card to Unity in the Heart, 1898 Eigelhart Avenue, St. Paul, Minnesota, 55104. And you can give cash or check during the service here, made out to MCC-Refugee Services. We'll have special envelopes in the bulletin. I believe you should be in your bulletins today that you can use today during the service. Were there any other announcements? Okay, let me see if I can get that. Is it tomorrow night? Tonight and tomorrow night at Bryant Bowl. Dennis is having a program. So what time does that start, Dennis? 7 p.m. both days? Okay. Okay. So Dennis live tonight and tomorrow at Bryant Lake Bowl. Any other announcements that need to be made now? Let me make sure where I am in the program here. Okay, so it is time now for the daily word that we do every Sunday. Today's words are hope and faith. Sunday, November 28th, 2021. This Advent, my hope leads me to unwavering faith in God. My belief in goodness of the world, others, myself, and God begins with hope. Maybe hope is all I can muster after a period of doubt or disappointment. As I feel hopeful, I begin to believe that new possibilities and better outcomes are available to me. My hopeful feelings lead to faith, a certainty that the goodness I could only sense before is actually the nature of my life. With faith, I now direct my thoughts toward goodness, wholeness, and my heart's desires. With gratitude for my awakening, I use faith to dismantle doubt and limitation, I hold only the best thoughts for myself. I know and feel in the depths of my soul that the good I desire is already mine. With unwavering faith and deep gratitude, I claim it now. For God alone, my soul waits in silence, for my hope is from him. Psalm 62, verse 5, hope and faith. And on this first Sunday of Advent, we will begin by doing our Advent reading and also lighting the first Advent candle.
The first Sunday of Advent, hope and faith. Advent begins. We now start a 4-week journey to Christmas. The 4 lights on our wreath are for each Sunday leading to our celebration of the birth of the Christ through Jesus, an event symbolic of spiritual rebirth of all that is divine in each one of us. The wreath is round, representing a completion. In just 4 Sundays, we'll complete our trip to Christmas. As we light each candle, we are reminded to let our own light shine. The first candle represents hope and faith. From Colossians, chapter 1, verse 27. God chose to make known the riches of the glory of this mystery, which is Christ in you, the hope of glory. Created in the image and likeness of God, we are perfect spiritual beings. That perfection is the Christ within. It is the part of us that is unchanging and indestructible. It is the part of us that is perfect love, perfect wisdom, and perfect substance. While we may not see the perfection of the Christ in us at all times, we have faith that it's there. Faith is the spiritual side of human hope. Through faith, we have eyes to see past experiences to the underlying good of God working in our lives to bring wholeness and healing wherever we need it. This Christmas, more than mere human hope, we have faith in the Christ in us. And our affirmation, in faith, I am the Christ of Christmas in expression. And let's say that together. In faith, I am the Christ of Christmas in expression. And now we'll have our second congregational song.
We're going to pull out our songbooks again, and we're going to be singing verses 1 and 2 of 286, O Come All Ye Faithful.
Joyful and triumphant, O come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. O come, let us adore him. O come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Sing, choirs of angels, sing in exultation. Sing, all ye citizens of heaven above. Glory to God in the highest. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore
The Unity movement was founded on prayer. We would now like to focus our attention on our prayer needs today. Please take a moment to bring to mind any prayers you may have. Your prayer may be a prayer of joy or gratitude, a prayer of concern for yourself or another, or anything that is close to your heart right now. Now let us pray together. Our loving God, we know that all our prayers are answered in the perfect way and time. Our hearts and minds are filled with divine spirit as we feel the presence and power of God working through us. We affirm the highest good in all situations. Those present, please place your prayer notes in the basket at offering time or in the prayer box after the service. We will hold them in prayer for 30 days at Unity here, and then send them to Silent Unity for another 30 days of prayer. Also, anyone who may send a prayer request to our prayer chaplains at unityintheheart@gmail.com. And Claire, we are ready for the first song from you. Thank you. Claire van de Kromert.
So this song I just came across recently, but I've loved the prayer for a long time, the Serenity Prayer. And there's a Minneapolis musician by the name of Billy McLaughlin. You may have heard of him before. I see a few hands. Billy went through quite a period in his guitar career. He used to play like a lot of people, left-hand fingers, right-hand strums, or picks. And he's had a sudden difficulty with his left hand and his right hand, and had to completely change from playing left-handed to right-handed. That takes a lot of stamina, a lot of conviction, hope, and faith. He was asked to put the Serenity Prayer to music. And so this is what is part of what's called the Serenity Project. And this is called tuning because it's winter. There, I think we're there.
God grant me the serenity to accept what I can't change, the courage to change all that I can, and the wisdom, yes, the wisdom to know the difference. God grant me the serenity to accept what I can't change, the courage to change all that I can, and the wisdom, yes, the wisdom serenity, courage, wisdom to know the difference. Serenity, courage, wisdom to know the difference. 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 God grant me the serenity to accept what I can't change, the courage to change all that I can, and the wisdom, yes, the wisdom to know the difference. Yes, the wisdom, oh, the wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom to know the difference.
Thank you, Claire. This shows just once again that every time I come here, I hear the music I need to hear, the message I need to hear, and that's perfect. Thank you so much. Now we'll hear Reverend Ray, who has a message for us, followed by meditation.
Thank you, Claire. Just as a side note before I get into the talk, first off, my first date with Robin, my beloved, was at a Billy McLaughlin concert at UITH in Minneapolis. And we saw him at Crooner's on the 20th anniversary, literally our 20th anniversary of our first date. So that was so cool. So I love Billy. And everybody who's here should know by now that I've probably said the Serenity Prayer every day for the last 2 years. I've used that to get me through most of everything that's been going on, including the external world and the internal world. So thank you. Thank you, Warren, for the platform attendance. And thank you, Robin. I forgot to mention that you were going to be doing the reading. Thank you for the nice setup for Advent. So today is that first day of Advent, as we heard. This is a time set aside in the Christian church to prepare and reflect on the birth of Jesus. In Unity, we do it more as a time of preparation and reflecting on not just the birth of the Jesus child 2,000 years ago and what that meant, but also, and maybe more importantly, is that birth of that Christ consciousness within us. That birth of a new, rather than awakening, it's a new awakening. An awakening of that Christ presence that's already present. It's a time of preparation mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for the birth of a new you. Beginning of a new year, a new you, and a new creation. We have lived in that illusion in a time of separation, and the time is ripe now for that birth of that new awakening of that Christ consciousness that allows us to take full control of all that is happening around us and through us. It's an ongoing process, and we get to use this time of Advent as a time to focus, to reflect, and to remember that which is already true about us. Now, in case you didn't read my blog this week, I know you all did, but just for those who didn't, Advent is not a biblical teaching. It is more of a tradition that began in the early church. The source of the Advent isn't really known. They don't know where it came from, but it had been practiced in the early church since as late as 480 A.D. Originally, Advent was used as a time to reflect back to that time of the birth. Later, the church adopted it more as a time to reflect, and especially with their monks and with their nuns in the monasteries and convents, to focus their time more on preparation for the second coming. The first Sunday, as Robin read, represents faith and hope. It's kind of like, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? They're both really in co-relationship with each other. Really, hope doesn't so much lead to faith, and faith doesn't so much lead to hope, as they work in unison with each other. But I would say this last couple years, we've been sustained as a society and as a world pretty much on hope. Hope of what? We hoped we would find a cure, or if not a cure, at least something that would control COVID. A vaccine, maybe, that we could all take. We hoped that those we cared about, those that were closest to us, our family, our friends, the people in our congregations, our neighbors, that they wouldn't be affected. They wouldn't catch COVID, so to speak. Or if they did, it would be one of the more mild cases. We hoped that the future was going to get better, or if it didn't get better, it at least returned to some normalcy, something that we could wrap our head around and feel familiar with. We hoped, many of us, we hoped that maybe the world could use the pandemic, the social strife, as a way to let go of our right-wrong mentality and all of our differences and begin to work together to create a better world to the benefit of all. We hoped. I've read many times that as long as we have hope, we can endure and sustain almost anything. As long as we have hope that something better is right around the corner, that the light is coming, our hope sustains us. But for me, hope's not enough. It can feel too much like I'm wishing for something to be better. I'm a unity minister, so I have a tendency towards being a little bit of a control freak, and just hoping the world gets better probably isn't enough for me. I want to be active in making it better. And it's my faith, or our faith, that provides that for me, that provides that foundation and the power that fuels the engine of hope. It is our faith, which is the assurance of things hoped for, the convictions of things not seen. This is right out of Hebrews. This is the letter to the Hebrews. The conviction, the assurance of things hoped for, and the conviction of things not seen. In unity, our faith isn't derived from something outside us coming in and doing something for or to us. Rather, our faith becomes that divine potential within us, whether it's realized or unrealized, lying dormant or active. But it is that divine potential that gives me hope for a better world. Charles Fillmore said, faith is the perceiving power of the mind linked with the power to shape substance. Faith is that quality in us to look past appearances of lack, limitation, or difficulty, to take hold of a divine idea and believe in it even though we have no evidence to support it. Oftentimes I say fact-based evidence is rocks are hard and water's wet. And in Unity we don't deny facts. What we deny is the power of that facts have any control over my life. That there's a deeper power within me that's guiding me. Through faith, we have an inner knowing of the truth that is not yet expressed in the manifest world. Faith is that seemingly ability to do the impossible. And from that faith, we have hope. Two things. You have all the faith you're ever going to have. Faith, according to Charles Fillmore, is one of the 12 powers of man. You are filled with faith. Understanding comes over time. Understanding and claiming that power of faith comes typically over time. It doesn't come with a mighty thud. It usually comes in itsy-bitsy pieces of revelation of, oh, and you get enough oohs. That's my way of doing it. I get enough oohs that finally I go, maybe I'm supposed to wake up to something that's bigger here than me. It must grow. It must be encouraged. It must be nurtured. It must be invited and made welcome. Often strengthened by the unexpected result. In our humanness, we have doubt and skepticism. It's just part of who we are. The more you're steeped in this scientific method, the more you're steeped in the secular world, the more doubt and skepticism you'll have. When I was first in the hospital 30 years ago, and the doctors told me that I probably had 6 months left to live, and he left, and I said the first prayer in my life. Heartfelt, probably the strongest, most powerful prayer, so un-unity you wouldn't believe it. God, if you don't kill me, I will do anything you do. And I didn't die. I had to do my part. I had to live my serenity prayer. I took control of those things I could. I let go of those things I had no control over. And I began to get better. And my faith began to grow because something happened that was beyond me, beyond my ability. I thought my faith had to be proved, and it was. And this is natural, and it's also biblical. The Apostle Thomas would not believe his own eyes. He had all the evidence in the world. Jesus is standing in front of him, and he said, that's not enough. I need proof. Now Thomas, one of the 12, was not with the disciples when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, we have seen the Lord. But he said to them, unless I see the nail marks on his hands and put my finger in the nails where the nails were and put my hands into his side, I will not believe. He needed evidence for him to awaken to what was already happening. Sometimes my own intellect or our own intellect gets in the way. I jokingly said, after I had been in 2 seminaries, got 2 masters of the divinity, started wallpapering my office with all the degrees and pieces of paper I had, that in reality, as I look at them, mean absolutely nothing. But I have all these degrees that tell me I'm very wise and filled with God. I said, when I was younger and I had no knowledge whatsoever, I healed myself of a heart condition that people said was incurable. And now that I'm older and wiser, I couldn't heal myself of a cold. Because I was too wise to I was getting in the way, and my skepticism would get in the way. And yet I think that's why Jesus told the disciples, truly, I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. And what is a child? A child's faith is pure. If a child has faith in you, they believe in you 100%. They don't look for proof to tell you that what they have faith in is real. They wait for proof to tell them it's not. The child has that pure faith to just believe. When I was working for Silent Unity, when I'm a prayer chaplain, whenever I do any prayer, I have to remember that most of the prayer work is around shifting the other person's experience and consciousness away from their problem onto the truth of who they are. It's not about healing them. It's about them remembering who they are, and they heal themselves. So we take this time of Advent to possibly strengthen our faith. This first week, we reflect on faith and hope. And that though the times may be dark in our lives, the light is both coming and ever present. It is being birthed in each of us and gives us hope for a better tomorrow. I was watching an old Harry Potter, and after Dumbledore died and he willed the illuminator to Weasley. An illuminator allows you to bring the light wherever there's a darkness. And we have, through our faith, an illuminator within us. And all we have to do is click that illuminator, and that light will fill us and fill the room. It gives us hope for a better tomorrow. Let us turn to a time of meditation. So as we reflect for a moment on faith and hope, what do we hope for? Where is our faith leading us? We just take a few moments as we come to that time of stillness and reflect on our hopes, our dreams, our faith. Faith, that assurance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. As we reflect on our faith, we remember our faith needs no proof. The faith is in the doing. And as Claire's beautiful song said, as we learn to do what we can, let go of the rest, and have that wisdom to allow God to be God, and for us to do what is ours. Through our faith, we create a world that works. No, not for just us, but for everyone. And so we just move into that time, reflecting on our faith and our hope, into that time of stillness, reflecting listening. And now as we come back and bring our attention fully back present, we come back with a grateful heart for this time to step apart for a while. Knowing that that connection with Spirit can occur whenever we want. A mere breath brings us back into alignment and connection. If we heard anything, we make that commitment to go forth and integrate and put it into practice in our lives. And nothing came, that's okay too. Just being in the presence, taking that time to step apart is enough. And so we go forth from here today in faith and hope. And we close with, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Rev Ray, for your message and the meditation. Now is the time when we acknowledge that all we have comes to us from God, our source. With our gifts, we express our openness to give and receive and our gratitude for God's generous supply. And it lands where it can heal and bless, it returns to me, multiplied 1,000-fold, and the universe says yes, yes, and the universe says yes. Let's join together with our affirmation for gifts, which is printed in your bulletin. Together, divine love and wisdom flowing through me, bless and multiply all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. Let's join together in the blessing of our gifts. With grateful hearts, we bless our gifts and say, thank you, God, for the abundant blessings that we enjoy. We release our gifts as they go out into the world, expressing God's unlimited love, abundance, and supply. For those who wish to contribute electronically, you will find a donate button on our webpage after the service, or you may mail your contributions to Unity in the Heart, 1898 Eigelhart Avenue, St. Paul, Minnesota, 55104. And now, Claire, time for our second guest song.
So I grew up a worrier. I spent a lot of time doing that, as a matter of fact, and brought it all the way into college. And I remember specifically the moment I was standing in my kitchen. I'd made it through the gauntlet of finals, and there was this sense of relief, followed immediately by the thought, I don't have anything to worry about, and I started to worry about that. And it was kind of like, oh, wait a minute here. The one thing that I can say is one of the biggest gifts I received from my mother, and it was almost like a mantra for her, was, it'll be all right. It was that one sentence, it'll be all right. And it takes sometimes a long time to learn a lesson. And that whole thing of coupling faith and hope together. And then following that in bringing that into the world. This song is called I Will Follow.
When the sea is calm and all is right, when I feel your favor flood my life, even in the good I'll follow you, even in the good I'll follow you. When my boat is tossed upon the waves, I'll count on you to keep me safe. Even in the storms, I'll follow you. Even in the storms, I'll follow you. And I believe in everything you say you are. I believe I have seen your unchanging heart in all the good things and in the hardest part. I believe and I will follow you. I believe and I will follow you. When I find myself so far from home and I'm not sure which way to go, I believe and I will follow you. I believe I will follow you. I believe in everything you say you are. I believe I have seen your unchanging heart in all the good things and in the hardest part. I believe and I will follow you. I believe I will follow you. And I believe in everything you say you are. I believe I have seen your unchanging heart in all the good things and in the hardest part. I believe and I will follow you. I believe and I will follow you. In all the good things and in the hardest part, I believe I will follow you.
Thank you. Another beautiful song. So, got nothing else to add to what's already been said. So let's everybody stand. We'll do our peace song followed by our prayer for protection. And Claire will lead us in the peace song because you don't want me singing, I guarantee it. So we'd like to keep you here till the end. So.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with thee.
The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Go in peace, stay safe, have a great week. Blessings.